you?
Some bullshit. I ain't got time for this. I'm too old for this.
There's somebody in this circle of y'all that is not happy with Angela.
And who is that?
Ooh, say it.
Phaedra.
Phaedra, how could you do
No,
something like that?
Phaedra didn't do it.
What are you talking about?
Before you accuse anybody.
Talk.
Phaedra is the godfather in Atlanta.
The Godfather of what?
Angela. Now I love you, girl. I can honestly say you were like my fave housewife this season. I live. But I must say, I need more evidence, sis. I feel like you did not have enough evidence to make a strong case for a conviction. And I just need more evidence, girl. I feel like you should have been a little bit more prepared, okay? Let's get into it, guys. Welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things housewives. And today we're here to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 17. Guess what, guys? This is the finale, okay? The season finale, the last episode of the season before the reunion. It's been a long road, but we made it. We're here, right? And this was a good finale, I must say. So let's jump right into it. But before we do so, do me a favor and please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't hesitate to leave a comment. All right? So this episode starts off with Porsha and her sister Lauren going to visit Phaedra at her house. Phaedra lets them in, greets them, and Porsha compliments her on her bob, like, girl, your bob is cute on you. And Phaedra's like, yes, girl, this is my business bob. And Portia's laughing like, you're very involved. So we find out that they're there to actually talk about Londi, the cousin who passed away, and they're going to basically be talking about her services because turns out that they actually enlisted Phaedra Parks to do the homegoing for Londi. So Phaedra's on top of it, okay? So they start talking about Londi, and we find out, Lauren is taking it hard, and they're both having a hard time grasping this, okay? We find out that Lauren and Londi actually grew up together because they were like babies together. They were around the same age, so they were close. And Phaedra goes to feed them, and she has butterfly plates. Now, Londi loved butterflies, they say, so, it was kind of like a tribute to her. So that kind of like was real touching for them. And then she has some champagne for them, and it reminded Lauren of Londi because she said me and Londi used to always drink champagne together all the time. So it was like, that's their cousin, and I can understand how it feels to lose a family member, especially one that you're close with. So my condolences goes out to the Williams family, and, I've been said this, she died last year, but, I'm glad that they're actually addressing it on the show now, because earlier when they showed her, I was like, why didn't they do a little in love and memory at the end of the episode? But then I didn't realize that she actually died during filming. So it happened in real time. So they let it play out in real time. So now we're dealing with the services. So, I do like the fact that they actually did, pay homage to her in that way. The next scene we get is with Angela. She's going to visit her therapist, Dr. Wendy. She says her and Charles has been seeing Dr. Wendy since 2017. And, she's like their, life coach or whatever you want to call it. So they get to talking. She gets to talking with her therapist, and she tells her, that she's in a ditch with these properties. She has these properties, 5 properties, I believe it was. And, she's having a hard time selling them. They pretty much had to lower the prices and everything. And this has put a strain on her marriage because she feel because Charles has been investing in these properties. So she's been having to go back to him to invest more and get more money. And now it's at a point where he doesn't want to fork over any more money. He if the product ain't selling, why am I investing more into it? And, like a true businessman, why would you put more money into something that's not selling? Unless you want to put more money into it that's going to guarantee it sells. So, like I said, they had to lower the prices, and she said sometimes you have to cut off your finger to save your hand. That was the analogy she used. So the doctor asked her how she feels about this, and you know the question of trusting Charles comes up, and she says that she definitely trusts him. And she says to the therapist, you know, it took me a long time to get here. It took her a long time to trust him again after, I guess, he betrayed her the first time. So she's finally at a point where now she fully trusts him, and she feels like she should have listened to him more when it came to investing in these properties. So then she tells Dr. Wendy about the little visit she got from the guy Marcus at Williams and Sonoma when he came and approached her to tell her her husband has been cheating on her. So Dr. Wendy was like, oh, grimy. And I was like, what you know about that, Dr. Wendy? Because Dr. Wendy, white, mind you, a white older lady. And she was like, oh, grimy. I was like, yes, you know these... So Angela is kind of confused because she want to know, like, who would do this and why would you send somebody into my life to try to hurt me and my family and come after my marriage? So she's confused by this, and she, you know, wants to know more, but she also lets Dr. Wendy know she's tired of it, and like she wants people to just leave her husband alone, stop trying to like throw dirt on him, and, you know, stop coming for her marriage. And now she's pretty much in fight mode, plain and simple, when she's ready for whatever has to come. So now the next scene we go over, and it's at the Bronner Center for the Performing Arts Conference Center. Shamia has a showcase. She's going to be showcasing her music. So she's preparing for that. We see her rehearsing and doing her little humming or whatever, where I guess her background singers. And we see the girls arriving. Phaedra, Kelly, and Cynthia are the first three to arrive and greet each other. And Cynthia lets them know that she has to leave. She got to catch a flight. She basically just came to show face, okay? We also see that Gerald is there. He's backstage with Shamia, you know, wishing her luck. And she's telling him how Shia wants to come on stage. So she's trying to figure out how to, like, put that into her set, Shia coming on stage. Drew arrives, and she's prepared to give criticism. She's like, you know, I'm here as an artist, as the artist of this cast. I'm here basically just to see what's going on, give my constructive criticism, you know, make sure her mic is on. So now Britt arrives. And Phaedra's like, she's walking by because she don't see the ladies. And Phaedra like, hey, you don't know us? And Britt stops like, hey. So she gives everybody a hug. And, of course, she goes right past Kelly to Drew to give Drew a hug. And Kelly's sitting there looking like... Kelly was looking anyway like, girl, don't even think about coming this way. So the feelings are mutual, okay? So Phaedra is saying how she don't understand how Britt and Kelly got here. This is in her confessional. And she basically saying, like, these kind of problems, they're not supposed to have this. And this is why they are the fake freaking friends. Okay? So now Angela arrives, and she drives in this tight, sexy green dress, and by now Cynthia's left. So Kelly is like, oh, you're going to just take Cynthia's place. So she goes and sit next to Kelly. So now Kelly basically this is the point where Drew greeted everybody and went past Kelly, and that's when Kelly was basically like, she don't even like realize Britt is there. Like, she was like, she's non-existent to her. She was like, is she here? In her confessional. So we see that Shamia's father is there to wish her luck. Mr. Morton, Papa Morton is in the house to come wish her luck. Where was Mama Morton? I didn't see her. So we see that Miss Pat, the comedian, she's the MC there to introduce Shamia. So Shamia comes out, she does her little performance, and she does pretty much a showcase. It's like an ensemble. She performed, it seemed like it was a full-on show, a full-on concert, because they show her performing mad songs in different outfits. And for the first song she did, it started off strong, but at one point she went to go hit a note. And baby girl, the note just didn't land. And you saw Phaedra face. Phaedra was looking like, ooh, like, child. And Drew in her confessional was like, girl, I ain't never had that hard of a time hitting a note. She was like, girl, what is going on? Remember, Shamia's been shading Drew and her career and her music all season. So now, Drew, yeah, this is your chance to shade her. We at your showcase. Let's see what you got, since you got so much to say about me. Okay? So now, just at this point, they're doing performance. She's doing, so she goes out to go change for her next song or her next routine or whatever. And that's when she's talking to, what's his name? The guy from Next that is managing her, RL. That's when he's telling her something, and she's like, yeah, I gotta step it up because my voice was kind of cracky pitching on that first song. So she noticed that she had a hard time catching that note. Her voice cracked. So now she goes back out, and baby girl, her voice wasn't cracking no more. Sis came out and did her thing. I ain't gonna hold you. She came out and she did her thing. She put on a cute show. She did. You saw different outfits. At one point, she was in the crowd, going through the crowd off stage. And at one point, she was on top of Gerald, serenading him and pretty much giving him a lap dance, if you ask me. No, but she was behind him, like serenading him, yeah. And so at the end of the performance, everybody's performing, and Gerald came on stage and handed her some roses, like a bouquet of roses. So everybody gave their opinions. You know, Britt, most of the girls feel like she killed it. Britt thinks the performance, she said Shamia sounded good, her singing was good, but the performance, you could use work. And Drew, she thinks that she needed a few more rehearsals. She was like, girl, you needed a few more rehearsals. She was like, but at least her mic was on. But then she was like, it should have been off. Yes, Drew, talk your shit, girl, because she's been talking shit about you all season. So now it's your time. Okay? This is about you now. Let's get into you, sis. So now the ladies all gathered to chat after the performance, and they're talking, and that's when Angela lets them know about she's having a gala for the Charles Oakley Foundation. So she asked the girls if they all got their invites, and they all did get their invites, and they all gonna be showing up, and they just like, let us know what you need. Phaedra like, let us know what you need. And that's when Kelly was like, if you want us to put a post out or something to get more support for it. So then Drew was asking Kelly, how many followers you got? And Kelly was like 150. And Drew like 150,000, 150K? And she like, yeah. So here come Britt. Britt like, yeah, but that's fake followers. She was like, she gained like 80,000 followers in the past week, like in a day or something like that. So that's when Kelly was like, I didn't know you was stalking my page, girl. So then Kelly threw a shot back, because now they talking about the donations and all that. You was like, make sure you have donations together, because not everybody knows how to donate. So you see Britt looking like she caught the shade. She caught it. They were shading you, sis. So Shamia finally comes to join the ladies, and she thanks them for coming out. They congratulate her, tell her she did a good job, and she's happy. And she lets them know, thank you for the support, and tells everybody to have a good night. And as everybody's leaving, she pulls Britt to the side, because she got a few words she want to exchange with Britt. So now this is when, this one piece of hair, just a strand of hair, is just in my face flying. Anyway, so Shamia joins the ladies like I said, and when she talks to them, that's when we realized Portia wasn't even there. I didn't even notice Portia wasn't there, to be honest with you. That's crazy. That's not good. But anyway, we realized Portia wasn't there because, she's dealing with the laundry situation or whatever, so she couldn't make it, and Shamia understands. So that's when everybody's leaving, so she decided to pull Britt to the side to confront Britt now about what Britt told Portia about Shamia showing her text messages and talking smack behind her back still after they had their conversation. So that's when we see a flashback of Cynthia telling Shamia what was said. So Shamia is telling her, like, I heard you said, you going around making stuff up, telling Portia I'm talking about her stuff starting to mess up. And Britt like, you did. You have sent me text messages saying stuff about her. We hung out and you have said stuff about her. So they start going back and forth. And Shamia asks her, like, are you jealous? Like, you must be jealous or something. So that's when Britt like, jealous of what? Like, Portia and me, blah, blah. And that's when Britt was like, I think you're jealous of me and Kelly being friends now. You jealous. And so now Britt is standing by her word. She's standing 10 toes down. Like, girl, no matter what you say, you said what you said. The text messages exist. I have the text messages. You was talking about Portia. You was saying how she a hater and how you can't stand her and all this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute, not for nothing. I'm not one to trust Britt because Britt is not the most trustworthy person on this cast. But no shade, I believe every word she's saying. And I am not going to lie. I would say these past, from the episode when they was in Grenada, the second episode when Britt got into it with Shamia about the shots thing, and then when they came for her at the table about the donations, that was episode 15. Yeah, that was episode 15, I believe. Or 14. Anyway, I think it was 15. But I'm going to keep it real with you. For the first 15 episodes of this season, I didn't see it for Britt. I was like, the first episode, she didn't bother me too much. Then she started to get on my nerves, and she started with this Kenya, all of this, she was just so paranoid about Kenya. But I could honestly say the last 3 episodes of this season, the last 3 to 4 episodes of this season, I've been on Britt's side for most of the arguments she's been into. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like how they ganged up on her at the dinner in Grenada about her donations, calling out her donations. The fact of the matter is she did donate. That's all that matters, okay? It ain't how much you gave. It's that you gave. But I get what they were saying, but I don't like how they went about it. Shamia was being passive-aggressive with her about the shots, and she stood on business. I don't take shots like that. She told y'all, I don't handle my liquor like that. I don't do shots, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, and even the Kelly situation, I feel like Kelly got jealous because Britt was, the stylist was, I guess, had Britt looking more better than her. So Kelly got jealous at some point. Sebastian, please stop. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I just believe, like, I've been kind of on Britt's side for these past few episodes, and she's been making sense to me, and I believe every word she's saying. And I believe, Shamia, yes, you were talking about Portia to her because you were cool with her and Kelly at one point. You did introduce them into the show from the first episode as your friends that you hung out with. And I believe also that you were showing text messages. I believe Britt, and Britt has the receipts. That's why I'm mad Britt didn't come to the reunion with her receipts. Like, girl, you should have came with your receipts. Like, you should have just stood on that villain era. Like, you should have been on your villain. So, yeah, so they start going back and forth, and that's why Shamia is like, oh, now I can see why you can't take shots, why you can't handle shots or whatever, and why you get half naked and get naked and all that. So Britt is like, whatever, you can't talk about me this and that, taking shots. And then that's when Britt said, but what about when we got to Miami from Grenada? Did you go home to your daughter? And now Shamia is like, don't bring up my daughter. Don't mention my daughter. And Britt like, no, I'm saying, like, you was so concerned about your daughter, but then when we got to Miami, instead of rushing to your daughter, you was chilling, turning up, taking shots. And Shamia was like, well, she was like, popping shots. That's what she said. You was popping shots. And Shamia was like, well, at least I wasn't popping pills. I was like, oh. Britt was like, you can't call me no pill popper. Don't call me no pill popper. And I'm just like, oh, this is getting nasty now. So that's when Britt calls her a whore, a lady of the night. She's like, you're a lady of the night. And Britt is like, girl, you know what they say about you. So she's leaving out as she says this to Britt. Like, bye, dismisses Britt. And Britt is behind her like, girl, you know what they say about you? That you been cheating on your husband, this and that. So as Shamia is leaving out in her confessional, she's like, girl, it's been rumors about me and my infidelities since your cat was a kitten. Okay? Please, come better than that. And that's how that scene ended. So next we see a little quick collage scene where we see Kelly. She's waking up the twins. She's back, waking them up with coffee. She's drinking coffee, not waking them up to give them coffee. She's drinking coffee, waking them up. And one of the daughters is like, girl, your breath smell like coffee. Go somewhere. Then we see Drew. She's getting glammed up for something. And as she's getting glammed up, Ralph is hitting her up because he's asking her, can he come upstairs? He's asking for permission to come upstairs from the basement. And then we finally see Britt and Mike getting on a jet somewhere. going somewhere. I don't know if they're looking into buying in a bed, but I know Britt is like, oh, this is a vibe. This would be cute for when we taking quick little trips or whatever. So I'm like, whatever. Just like when y'all was shopping for that car, y'all never bought, huh? So we finally end up for the next scene at Kelly's house. And she's making breakfast with the girls. What's her name comes in, the oldest daughter comes in, Chloe, and she's asking Chloe to help them with the breakfast, and Chloe's helping them, but Chloe's acting a little stink. It's giving teenager. So we find out her sister Kamaya is there. I don't know if she was already there or if she just showed up, but she comes into the kitchen like, oh, I'm just on time. Breakfast smell good. Like, y'all need help? So I think that's when Kelly was like, oh, yeah, you can make the eggs. So that's when they get to talking, and she's telling Kamaya how she's having trouble, with the Sandy Springs location. She's having issues getting it open. And in her confessional, she also lets us know that she doesn't want to open it right now anyway because she's still going through the divorce. She plans on being divorced by now. So she doesn't want to open up another restaurant while she's still married, because basically her husband would be able to have access to that. So she wants to get divorced before she starts this new restaurant, which is very smart, girl. Smartest thing you said all episode. So that's when Chloe was like, I'm still gonna manage it, right? And Kelly was like, at this point, girl, you might be the busboy, the waitress, and the manager. The way things is going. So next, we go have a quick scene over at Ebenezer Baptist Church, and we see Drew was there to meet Ralph, and he's playing a piano. She's like, oh, you miss playing a piano? He was like, yeah. To be honest with you, I don't really have much to say about the scene, because seeing Ralph on my screen is just annoying to me. But basically, they were pretty much talking about co-parenting and how they going to work this out. Ralph was like, how did we get here? So now they're trying to figure out how they're going to have a co-parenting relationship, because he feels like the court told him he can't see his kids from Monday through Friday, pretty much. And he's not allowed to even come upstairs to the house. So Drew tells him, that's just because that's what the court says, like, you're their father. I would never keep you away from your kids. So that doesn't mean you can't reach out to me and ask me to see your kids. I would always be willing to let you see your kids because kids need their father. So, like I said, this scene to me was pretty much, I didn't pay too much attention to it because I didn't like Ralph at all. So I just know that the scene ended up with them giving each other a high five saying, let's do it. So I guess they came to some type of agreement or arrangement where they're going to be better co-parents. Anyway, so next we go over to Chateau Elan Winery and Resort. And Phaedra is there with her boy toy, her fake boyfriend that she met on Married to Medicine, that she brought on over to Real Housewives of Atlanta with her. And now she's referring to him as Shay Shay. Girl, we met him as Check. I don't know who the hell Shay Shay is, but I'm calling him Check. Alright, but anyway, she's saying how Han Shay Shay Check has been dating for over 4 months now. He's young and he's fine, and she's having a good time right now. So they show a flashback of the speed dating event where they met at on Married to Medicine, when Sweet Tea had like a speed dating event, and that's where Phaedra met Check at, and they hit it off, and that's how they got to be. So now the producer is asking her if she's interested in getting married again. And she's like, no, she don't want to get married again. She's just having fun. She don't want no commitment and none of that after what she's been through or whatever. So now they're there to the man is going to help them and show them how to make a charcuterie. So they're making a charcuterie board and putting all the products on. And they make that. So then they go sit down to talk. And that's when she invites him to the gala that Angela is doing for the Oakley Foundation. And he's like, yes, girl, I always go on a date with you. And they start to talk about how they had their first kiss on the plane, the private jet, I guess when they was coming from Miami or Married to Medicine, and they went home. So then they got a kiss, and the kiss looked so fake. I was like, girl, bye. We ain't buying this fake relationship. All right. Next scene, over at the Edie residence. Now, Britt and Mike are there with her mom, and we find out that her mom actually moved in a couple of weeks ago, and Britt is loving it. They're, getting used to the transition, but everybody's, getting along, and she's loving it right now. So we find out that her family is coming. All of the family from both sides is going to be coming over for dinner. And this is the first time that they all been in a room together, I guess, in a long time, or period. I'm not sure if she said the first time I don't remember if she said this is the first time that they all been in a room together, period, or in a long time. But she also says, like, pretty much, even with her sisters, like, they haven't had a three-way call and three-way FaceTime in 6 months. So we see that the family starts to arrive. First, her older sister Tiara arrives with her husband. Then Mike's family, who are Britt's in-laws, they arrive, his sister and I guess whoever else. Then we see Cher, the other sister, Britt's other sister, arrive with more family members. So everybody goes to sit down and eat. Everybody's loving on each other. It's all family time and it's cute or whatever. So Britt and Mike get up to make an announcement. So when she goes to make an announcement, that's when Cher was like, y'all about to have a baby? And they pause, and everybody was like, yeah, getting hype. And they're like, no, that's not it. Mike's like, no, she's not pregnant. So the announcement is that they're finally going to be having their ceremony that they've been planning, because in the beginning of the season, she let us know that her and Mike got married during the pandemic, so they didn't have a ceremony. So now they want to have an actual official ceremony, and she wants all the family to be there. And everybody seems to be on board. Yay. It was a cute way to end her storyline. You know, she definitely wrapped up her storyline, and good job, guys. Next over, it's finally time for the Charles Oakley Foundation Gala. It's the day of, and that's when Angela lets us know that the foundation started since 2017. The ladies begin to arrive. We see the ladies arriving, you know, with their loved ones or with their plus ones or whatever. And Cynthia's asking Charles, like, where's Angela? Because Angela's nowhere to be found. And Charles is like, that's what I'm saying. So we see Angela, I don't know if she's home or where she's at, but she looked like she's not dressed. She's just chilling. I don't know if they were just showing her earlier, but she's on the phone with Drew. And we see that her and Drew actually met up with the guy, Marcus, that approached her at Williams-Sonoma, and they had to meet up with him and another friend at the restaurant one day to get more information, and he supposedly told them who basically put him up to that. They showed the scene where she was questioning them, and they were saying that the day Charles was in a restaurant, she said, I know that's a lie for a fact, because Charles was coaching for the Big Three at that time. So he was on live TV at the time that you're saying he was at the restaurant. And also, so we see a part where she's asking him to say who it is, and he don't want to say it. So she's like, do you want to write it? So he writes it in his phone, and he shows her the phone. And then Drew like, let me see. So you see her pass the phone to Drew, and Drew is looking at the phone like, uh-oh. So they don't reveal who it is, but we know now that they got somebody in their crosshairs that they are saying is behind this whole debacle. So now we got Cynthia back at the event. She meets Check. And she like, oh, Phaedra got her little chocolate. Cutie, let me find out this is Mr. Chocolate. Oh, I had to take a little sippy sip, okay? So now Portia arrives, and she's telling, I believe she's talking to Cynthia, and she's telling Cynthia, like, you know, she don't know how to feel about Shamia, hearing that Shamia is basically sharing her text messages with Britt. So she's a little on edge about that, but, you know, she just gonna go with the flow, pretty much. So now we see the ladies are eating, and Britt is telling Portia how Shamia is mad at her. And that's when Cynthia admits to telling she admits to telling Shamia what Britt told Portia about her talking about her and sharing her text messages with her. So we also see that Angela is actually there now, looking stunning. She look good, okay? And Drew finally arrives. Drew, why are you always the last one all season? Drew has always been the last one to arrive. What is going on, girl? What is you giving? I'm like the star of the show? She's been late for every event. I think I could count the times on my fingers this season that Drew wasn't the last one to arrive at an event or anything for that matter. So we go now, the honorees, the people who are being honored come up to speak. So Angela's introducing the honorees. And we find out that one of the honorees is actually Portia. And Angela wants to honor her because she feels like Portia's family. You know, Portia's family has a lot of background and charity, and plus her father was like big in the civil rights movement. So she wants to honor them because Portia and Londi as well was big in charity. So Portia gets up there to accept the honoree, and she's, you know, speaking of Londi, and she gets emotional and choked up, and Angela has to come, you know, hold her shoulders or whatever. So when she finally goes down, that's when Angela said, all right, well, that concludes the event. The event concludes. So we have a lady now. She was singing a church song. I forgot what song it was she was singing, but it was a church song. And the song she was singing made Portia emotional because it was like a hymn. And it had like the organ playing in the background. It seemed like it was giving very much something that would make someone emotional who just lost someone close to them. So she gets emotional. So she gets up to go to the bathroom, and all the ladies go with her. This is what I love. Like, even though they all might have their problems, but when somebody's down and going through something, I will say all of the ladies rally around her to, you know, help them get through it. So that's one thing. They was in that bathroom 8 deep, honey. Okay? So they all come out the bathroom finally after they calm Portia down, and they're chilling, and that's when Angela gets a text from Drew saying, your friend is here. So then Drew is like, oh, okay. So she wants to set this all up. Now, we see that the donations raised actually was $107,000, which is, I think, short of, I think she wanted to raise $300,000. And also her goal was to feed 100,000 kids. That was the goal. So now we see Check and Charles, they hitting it off. They cracking jokes and all that, comparing height and laughing. And I'm like, one thing about Check, a.k.a. Shay Shay or whatever, is he does have riz. Like, he's a charismatic person, and he knows how to get around, because even in Married to Medicine, he blended in with these older couples. Like, he knows how to come into a room and blend with everybody and get to laughing and joking and kikiing. And that's one thing I will say. He's a kiki, okay? So Angela's gathering the ladies now because she wants to get down to the bottom of things. So now we see they're starting to talk, and she's like, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about that guy that approached me, and I was wondering, like, who would do this? So she's like, I did my research, and she said, you know one thing, Kelly, I'm not going to front. You know, I find this weird and odd that this happened at your event. So now Portia like, so wait, now you questioning Kelly? So Kelly looking like, girl, like, I know you're not coming and saying I had something to do with this. So then Angela changes course real quick, and she's like, you know, also, I didn't know who to think of. So then she says to Britt, you know, me and you had our own past, so I had to think, would you do something like this to me? Would you send somebody? So that's when Britt is like, I would never do that to you, you know what I mean? I'm a married woman myself, so I would never come for nobody's marriage like that. And as she's saying that, Kelly is laughing like, like, girl, like laughing, cracking up when she said, I'm a married woman. So then when she's saying something, and she was like, I don't move like that, this and that, you see Kelly tapping, like she's nudging Shamia, like nudging her. So then they get to talking, and she's like, well, then I met with the person and I know who it is. She said, actually, I sent Drew, and Drew got down to the bottom of it. So Drew's like, so they like, Drew, so what's up? Spill the tea. So then Drew goes to go get the guy, and they're like, wait a minute, he's here? So Drew goes, and she comes back with Marcus. He comes back looking all timid and nervous. So they all like, this is him? You? All right, what's up? So now he comes to sit over there. And before that he could sit down, honey, Charles peeped what was going on. And Charles came over there like, you got to go. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Like, really, like, you gotta go. Get out of here. You disrespected me and my family. Get out. Get his ass out of here. So Angela's like, no, leave him alone. Wait, trust me, trying to stop Charles from calming down. And Charles is like, nah, you gotta go. So then he told the guy, you know what, you lucky. So Charles is like, you know what, I'm out of here. Fuck that. I ain't got time for this. So he de-mics and he's ready to go. He's leaving. So Angela takes Marcus back over to the ladies now. So now, as Charles was flipping out, the ladies was all in a confession. It was like, well, they did say his nickname was the Enforcer. And it was like, I see how he got that nickname. And Britt was like, Charles does have a reputation from the NBA. And Cynthia was like, he definitely looked like he about to enforce some shit up in here, okay? So Charles definitely was about to really get at him. But Angela calmed him down. So now she brings him over there to the girls to talk. So then he's saying how, you know, he had a meeting with somebody and they put him up to this. So they like, who? So he's like, Phaedra. So everybody's gagging. So Phaedra's like, what? Me? I don't know you. Or whatever. So he's like, Phaedra, you know, you the one that put me up to this. When you handed me that envelope, that white envelope. So they all like, wait a minute, what you mean? What you mean? So listen, he was like, everybody knows Phaedra is the godfather of Atlanta. So I'm like, what, the godfather of Atlanta? Why? He was like, you know, when she wants something done, she gonna get it done. And he basically is claiming that Phaedra put him up to this and Phaedra paid him to do this. So, for some reason, he was saying, Phaedra was like, I don't know you. He was like, yes, it was through a mutual friend that we share, a mutual friend. So she was like, who? So he was like, Junebug. So Ed was like, Junebug? Who the hell is Junebug? So Phaedra was like, that definitely sound like a, what part of Athens name? I forgot what part of Georgia she said, but she was like, definitely. So, I don't know. So they going back and forth. So he's mad. So then Marcus is like, look, y'all don't want the truth. I ain't got time for this. I'm out. So he gets up and he leaves. Mind you, Phaedra is like denying it. So then you see Portia in her confessional. She was like, to be honest with you, I think this is all a scheme set up by Todd. And baby, they showed the flashback of maybe this was all a scheme that Todd had set up to come with you with the book. I was living when they showed that flashback. I was like, no, they did not, okay? So now Angela and Phaedra start to go at it. Angela was like, what's the problem, Phaedra? Why would you come for my marriage? What is it? Is it the ring? Like, what is it, the marriage? You want a marriage? And Phaedra's like, girl, bye. Like, and Phaedra was like, because I trusted you and I liked you. And Phaedra's like, I thought I liked you too. And Angela just going in, they going back and forth. And Angela was like, you can't be trusted or whatever, this and that. So then that's when Phaedra, she was like, I did my research, Phaedra, and you gave me everything. You gave me everything. They said in The Godfather, they say, watch out for the dog that brings you the bone. Is that the thing she said, I think? Yeah. And she said, you gave me everything. So then in the confessional, they asking Angela, like, what you mean she gave you everything? What you mean? So she was like, it was Phaedra. After that went down, Phaedra called me out of nowhere and was like, girl, I know who this boy is or whatever. So she was like, she said his name is Marcus such and such, and he works at such and such. So she was like, she knew all his information, which means she knew him. So she's basing that off of this. She doesn't have any concrete evidence, but it is pointing strong at Phaedra. So now that's when she's like, you gave me everything. So Phaedra's like, well, you seem to have did all your research. You did all of this. What's the word I'm looking for? The detective work when they looking around. She said, but you failed to talk about them foreclosures. So Angela was like, girl, that ain't no secret. Like, that ain't nothing. Like, that's like, but the fact of the matter is, two different friend groups, you know what I mean? Pretty much basically saying, and you still the same as you was with the last friend group. You can't be trusted, and the way you playing right now was real low. So Phaedra's basically still denying it, and she's basically giving like, first of all, I don't know this guy, and then she said, after what I've been through and how I left this show, why would I be come back starting up more mess to like that again? Like, girl, bye, or whatever. And I can't 100% say it's Phaedra. Yes, she would be the most likely suspect, but it could also be Portia. It could be Britt. You know what I'm saying? So, Cynthia doesn't believe it. She's like, I need more evidence. She said, Phaedra is a sneaky girl, but I'm sorry, I need more evidence. I need to hear more. Portia thinks Angela did it to herself. She's like, I think Angela did it to herself. And she's like, bitch, fight me at reunion. Shamia thinks it was Britt. So then this leads to Shamia and Britt going at it. So then Shamia is telling Portia how Britt said something about her mentioning her daughter. And Portia's like, what you said? And Shamia was like, I ain't say nothing. I wanted to beat her ass. So Britt was like, is that a threat? And Shamia was like, no, I don't make threats. That's what you do. That's what you do, whore. So Britt is getting up and walking away. And Shamia was like, you threatened Kenya. That's the first thing you did. So she started listing off the threats Britt made or whatever. And Britt leaves out. And she's telling her husband, like, unmic me. We out of here. These ladies are trash. These ladies are trash. So as she's leaving, at the same time, mind you, at the same time that Shamia and Britt is going back and forth, Angela and Phaedra still going back and forth. So it's just two different arguments going back and forth. And I'm just like, I'm rewinding it to catch. Wait a minute, let me get back into this argument. All right, now let me get back into this argument, okay? It was very much given ping pong, okay? So yeah, so basically as Britt and her husband are leaving is when they start showing the end of the season updates, that scorecard they put up there. And we see for Kelly, it says that she's finally divorced and getting closer to opening the Sandy Springs location. And we see after that, they still going at it. Then the next card they see is Britt. They say she basically, with her new clean slate, she's looking to open and start a new insurance company and also expand her bare and naked so she can basically keep the masses snatched. Drew's scorecard is basically saying her album, I Did It To Me, came out and is doing good. And she's still not divorced, pretty much. And Ralph is still in the basement, pretty much. Shamia's update was that they actually found a new surrogate and started the process and are still working on a baby boy. Her single Never Had dropped in March of 2025. And she hopes people won't think it's Drew. Phaedra's in there because you see Angela is telling Phaedra, good night, Phaedra. Thank you for investing in my marriage. Thank you, boo-boo. Walking away and Phaedra just smiling like, girl, bye. So Phaedra's update is saying basically she's still adding more jobs to her resume until her boys retire her. And Chet is still basically around, still, satisfying her sweet tooth. But Angela, it says that she sold 3 of her houses but lost 2. She's also working on a new line of handheld fans called Fangy, and there's no word on the vow renewal. So next we see 5 months later, and now 5 months later, Portia is finally in that house she was unable to record in all season, honey. Yes, Portia is in the house Simon bought for him and her. She's on a treadmill. And it's so funny because this season started off with her in the middle of Atlanta doing some fake workout and stretches in the street. And now it ends with her on a treadmill, giving her little update. Basically, she finally got access back to the house, so she's happy about it. So she's in the house. I guess they came back, it said 5 months later. So I guess 5 months after the season wrapped with filming, they came back and started filming again when she got access back into the house. And I feel like that was a big slap in the face, a big F you to Simon from the network saying, fuck you, we recorded in your house anyway, nigga. So, and that was Portia's way of saying, child, boo. Say, what? Who can't record in this house? So yeah, she was there with Pilar. And she basically compares the divorces. She's like, this time she didn't leave high and dry. Because remember last time, she just wanted to get out that relationship with Cordell from out of his control. So she left with nothing. She said, I don't want nothing. I just went out. This time around, she played it smarter. She did not leave high and dry. She got what she was owed. Okay? So we see Miss Diane arriving now. And she's like, hey, Porsche. And they get in there talking. And I have 2 questions. Because she was telling Pilar to go get something. And I'm like, is that the dog? Because where's the dog you bought her? Remember the dog? And where's the au pair? What's going on, Portia, was this all just fake scenery? I want to see that dog next season or in some Instagram posts when I go to your page. And I want to see this all pair in your next season storyline, okay? Anyway, so Miss Diana arrives and they start to talk about the upcoming hearing because I guess this was before the actual hearing where they made the determination. And she's hoping that they honor the prenup and this could be over with. She said she hasn't seen him in over 10 months, so she's sure he moved on. And she's just ready to move on to the next chapter of her life. And then basically they show her scorecard. They show her credits where it says Simon has been detained by ICE. Upon returning to the United States, Simon has been detained by ICE, which leaves the divorce on ice. But as we know now, the divorce is finalized. Portia got her, they honored the prenup and Portia got her coin, honey, okay? Now, Simon said he ain't gonna pay it, but we gonna see, because he in Nigeria, so he's not bound by any U.S. laws. So we're gonna see what happens. But I really did enjoy this, season finale. I did. It was a really good finale. On a scale from 1 to 5, I can't say it was 5 worthy, only because I feel like that whole thing Angela set up, it kind of fell short. It flopped. Like we didn't get what you want out of that. But it was a good finale. It was like a whodunit, pretty much. So I'm gonna give the finale episode a 4 out of 5. And as far as this entire season goes, for the season, you know what? I'm actually going to do a separate video because I want to sit down and think about this and go back through all my reviews. And in a few days, I'm going to do an update video before the reunion where I'm going to lay out a video where I'm going to go over the season, not discuss the season or review the season, but I'm going to basically rate the entire season. I'm going to rate each girl who was my faves. I'm going to rate them all on a scale from 1 to 10, actually. I'm going to rate on a scale from 1 to 10 on how I felt like the girls delivered this season and what I think about each girl. And I'm going to rate how I thought the season was overall. So we're going to do that in a separate video. But in the meantime, guys, let me know what you guys think about the episode. Did you enjoy it? What's your score for the finale episode on a scale from 1 to 5? Do you think Phaedra has something to do with this? Do you think Angela overplayed her hand? What do you think? Who do you think is responsible for this? And also, who is Junebug? Ciao. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Be on the lookout for my Real Housewives of Miami double recap that will be going up soon as well. So please check that out because I haven't been really watching Miami recaps, but I see that the ratings for Miami haven't been that great, so that's probably why not as many people watch Miami as Atlanta. But guys, check it out. If you don't watch it, just check out my recap at least. All right, but yeah, and there was no episode this Sunday that just passed because I guess July 4th weekend, but they will be back next Sunday with the reunion, 3-part reunion starting. So I will be reviewing all parts of the reunion as well. And then I'll probably recap the reunions. I'll probably do a rating of the reunions separately from the season. All right, guys? But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy your week. Stay cool out there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.